head home. And then, because she cared about the family next door, perhaps a little too much if truth be told, and because of something in the way Alec's little shoulders slumped forward, as if the weight of the world were contained in that gallon of milk, she called after him, halting his steps. "Will you guys be heading to the pool today for the opening?" She pictured Deborah that first year after Alec was born, floating him around in the pool in one of those little baby boats. He'd worn a sun hat with a brim that kept flopping in his eyes, and he'd laughed a delicious baby laugh. Deborah had tipped her head back and laughed with him. Alec shook his head slowly, sadly. "My dad says he has to work." The words were out of her mouth before she could stop herself. "Well, you tell him I can take you two. You tell him to come over here just as soon as he gets a chance, and we'll get it worked out." He gave her an "Are you serious?" look, and she nodded in affirmation. "Go on, go tell him." She prompted him toward his house with her hands. She turned back to find John watching her, his face telling her all she needed to know. "What did Oliver Twist want now?" he asked. John pretended to be gruff, but he was an old softy. "Be nice," she chided. She set his parfait down in front of him. He raised his eyebrows. "Did you just offer to tote those kids to the pool today?" She shrugged. "They wouldn't have gotten to go otherwise. Lord knows Lance doesn't have the time to take them." He crossed his arms over his chest, gave her an impervious look. "You better watch out, or they're gonna suck you right in." She waved his words away. "Oh, they are not. Eat your parfait." "I like my parfaits to involve pudding," he groused, but he began to eat. After a few minutes of silence, John took a drink of his coffee and said, "So, I was talking to Clay Robinson. Seems they're in the same boat as us. Kids gone, nothing planned for the summer." She looked over at him, feeling where the conversation was going, but not liking it. He ignored her panic look and continued, "We were talking about maybe going on a little couple's getaway." Zell didn't want to go on a couple's getaway. She wanted to go on a family vacation like they used to, rent a house on the beach or a cabin in the mountains by a stream, or stay in a hotel near an amusement park. She wanted to pick up wet towels and soothe sunburned skin and sweep up sand. She wanted to go fishing and camping and ride roller coasters and make s'mores and play board games. She wanted the summers of the past. She wanted to do it all again. But she could not say that to John, who still loved her, still wanted her, still held her hand when they drove somewhere in the car. This was, she knew, something. She lowered her hands to his forearms. He had such strong forearms. Even now she admired the way the muscles rippled underneath his skin. "What did you have in mind?" she asked. "I was thinking Lake Lure," he asked. "Somewhere quiet and peaceful like that. Maybe a little cabin by the lake." He grinned, proud of himself for thinking up this plan, "with a screened-in porch." She was a sucker for a screened-in porch, and he knew it. They'd been talking about adding one to the house for years, but with 3 kids to get through college, the cost had been prohibitive. Maybe now they could do it. "Clay and I could golf. You and Althea could poke around in the shops." Clay and John had been work buddies for a long time. She tolerated Althea, but she would never elect to vacation with her. The woman had the most alarming breasts. They looked like when her son stuck water balloons down his shirt to be funny. They hung absurdly low and moved independently from the rest of her. Althea also thought her only son looked exactly like Tom Cruise and used every opportunity to whip out her photos of him. This also disturbed Zell. She'd stood by once too often as Althea accosted some poor soul with photos while they nodded and agreed politely. "That sounds nice. I'll give Althea a call about it as soon as I get a chance," she said agreeably. She'd think of a way out of it later. Satisfied, John put down his coffee. "You know, I don't have to get to work right away," he said. She laughed. "I haven't even brushed my teeth yet." "It's not your teeth I'm interested in." He flashed his most charming smile, rose from his